Of NBN and former Bill Clinton campaign advisor. Also with us, Ian Prior, Communications Director for American Crossroads. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning, John.
Simon, the Hillary Clinton campaign, for instance, is spending money in my home state of Colorado. It's a place that looked very strong for Hillary Clinton. Are they worried?
I don't think they're worried. I think it would be malpractice if in the final week of the election that the Clinton campaign didn't do everything they could to win in what had been the traditional battleground states. I mean, John, you're aware that as recently as 2004, the Democrats didn't even compete in Colorado, right? I mean, they let it go to the Republicans. So many of these states are battleground states. They've got Republican governors. They've gone the other way in recent elections. This is what you would expect the campaign to be doing at the end. There's no panic here.
On this kind of a campaign, Ian, how effective is television advertising going to be?
Well, that's one of the things we've seen throughout this campaign is that the traditional means of communicating, television ads, has not really done the job. I mean, Hillary Clinton has outspent Donald Trump by millions, and he's still in it. Ultimately, I think what we have here is a game of hot potato. Whichever candidate ends up having the last 10 days of bad media coverage might end up being on the losing end of this thing. And right now, you'd have to say Hillary Clinton is the one with the bad coverage.
Well, what do you think about that hot potato analogy, Simon?
Well, look, it's the final week, right? Everyone's going to spend all of their money. They're going to put all their surrogates out. They're going to do everything they can. That's what the, campaigns are for. I think, look, Democrats feel pretty good about where we are. It's clearly not where we were a few weeks ago. We still have, in many polls, a 3, 4, 5-point lead. We're still ahead in the Electoral College. But we're not going to leave, we're not going to unilaterally disarm here. I mean, we're going to throw everything we can at the end, and I think we're pretty confident of victory next week.
At the same time, Ian, I mean, as you said, Donald Trump has not run a traditional campaign. He has not spent the kind of money, not bought the kind of ads that Hillary Clinton and the Democrats have. Can he pull it out, despite the fact that he doesn't have the resources, the kind of money in the bank that her campaign has?
Well, I think he's still the underdog, but there's no doubt he's closing. I mean, if you look at some of the states you mentioned, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, traditionally blue states, he is closing the gap in those states. And even if he doesn't win Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, that benefit is going to go down ballot. If he loses Wisconsin by, say, 3 points, Ron Johnson's coming back to the Senate. If he loses Pennsylvania by 5 points, Pat Toomey's coming back to the Senate. So there are implications beyond the presidential race for what these traditionally blue states may mean for down ballot races.
Yeah, there is the suggestion, Simon, that Hillary Clinton's campaign is feeling the same kind of heat in places like Colorado, that they want to try to lift down ballot Democrat candidates.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's funny to hear states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania be described as blue states. I mean, the Pennsylvania congressional delegation is more than 2-to-1 Republican, right? There's a Republican senator, fighting for the, for re-election. Ron Johnson in Wisconsin, you've got a Republican governor. These are battleground states. I mean, please, guys, come on. I mean, these are traditional battleground states. And what's interesting to me is that the campaign that's expanded the map has been the Democrats. And we now have Arizona leaning towards Hillary Clinton, North Carolina leaning towards Hillary Clinton. Trump will probably end up flipping Iowa and Ohio, right? But so the Democrats have successfully added more states to what's called their blue wall. And I think we're coming out of this, again, feeling good in the final days. We're going to leave everything on the playing field. There's no doubt about it.
Donald Trump has said that there is a silent majority out there, Ian, that there are a lot of people who are ready to vote for him, but maybe just don't talk about it publicly. Is that something he can count on in these last 6 days?
Well, I don't know if you want to necessarily count on that. I mean, it's tough to determine if there is a silent majority out there, if they're not showing up in the polls. But like I said, at this point, I mean, he's got to throw everything out there. He's got to try to get states where, he traditionally couldn't get. Look, even if he gets Florida, Ohio, and North Carolina, he still needs to be able to add states to get to 270. It's a very daunting map for Donald Trump. But the fact that he is still in this thing a week out from the election is amazing, quite frankly.
Ian Prior from the Republican side, Simon Rosenberg from the Democratic side. Thank you both.
Thank you.
So much.